Hey everybody, welcome to the show. From archaic tomes to modern publications, the stars have been said to guide our destiny, our fortunes, our love lives, and more. I've even had technological issues during Mercury Retrograde. Does this mean it was the planet Mercury's position in the heavens that caused this, or was just a mere coincidence? But to help us with that, we have longtime friend and follower of the show, Chastity Cornish, with us. That is an astrology aficionado. So we had to bring her on the program so she can talk to us about how this works, and if it does, do the stars really control us?
Welcome to the Three Beards podcast. My name's Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is right.
Then live to send the innocent to their death? Is this justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
All right, Austin, how are you, sir? I've been on vacation, so I'm all. My feet are nice and tan. That's pretty cool. I haven't had to wear boots. So Chris is gone for this show because his son's got track practice, so he's not going to be here for that. But how's your week been going?
Busy. Ready for Halloween.
I know, getting ready for it. What a perfect shows, astrology, and have another one about Halloween, tonight. So I'm looking forward to it. So this time, let's bring on Chastity to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you all doing?
Good. Now, if you move just a little bit to the other way, it's like you have a perfect halo. See, like that, the thing behind you.
You know what? Sometimes my halo gets crooked, so
yeah.
I'm used to that. Let me just straighten it.
Yeah. So I just like, yeah. So we, long-time listener friend. We chatted for quite a while. And I just, you've always commented and done other stuff with astrology, and I just finally asked you, I should say, half begged, half, convinced you to come on the show. So, so first off, thank you for being here. And also, how did you find us?
Through April Rutherford. She is amazing. I thank her so much she has helped me so much, and she has shared your podcast. That's how I heard of y'all. Y'all are absolutely. I'm sorry I say y'all. I'm in Virginia, but you all are amazing. I love it.
Oh, that's okay. We're all in Florida, so y'all works. So we just there's so many different groups here. That's like you don't really have the southern twang, down here in Florida. There's just so many transplants. I mean,
that's the joke. The farther north you go, the more southern you get.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. So but yeah, that was the thing. It's just you've been a long time fan. You've been a long time, So it was really cool to get a chance to somebody that's part of the group, to come on and talk with us and help us out with this, because this is one thing I won't lie. Astrology, numerology, I have no clue. I mean, I couldn't tell you because everybody, Michael, thanks for Ronald, Mona, Sarah, hopefully I'm catching everybody. It's like, thanks for, tuning in, everybody. Mark. It's, these, for me, it's just, it's one of these things. Like, I had my computer issue when my our internet went down during the Mercury retrograde, and of course everybody, I've had a few people that were giving me a hard time. They're like, see, this is what happens when you make fun of the Mercury retrograde, stuff happens to you. And so that's what I said. I go, was this in fact the position of Mercury that caused this, or was this just something, just a weird coincidence that just made for, good old fashioned make fun of Craig time?
It was perfect timing though.
Yeah.
So it shook you up a little bit. Like it would have shook me up.
Well, it was like, God, we were about a week in the crazy part. I don't think I ever told anybody. So when my internet was down, the whole thing is when they were installing cable for a neighbor down the street, they just plugged our line in the wrong port. That was it. So it wasn't even really like, it was just like something just broke. It was just literally the tech just accidentally put it in the wrong port. And that was it. And so down there in the box, it just our internet's just plugged into the wrong thing. That's why it's not working. And I'm like, but hey, that made for an amazing poolside chat, for that show. So.
During a rocket launch.
Yes, that was great.
Well, Mona, hello. Thanks for tuning in. So we'll just get right to it, because Astrology 101, courtesy of my research. Basically, from what I was finding, the earliest known records of astrology, they date back to at least the second millennium BCE. So it's based in a calendrical system, calendar basis, that it was used to predict shifts in the seasons, and is used also as a divination source for celestial cycles and signs of communication. Most cultures have used, celestial bodies and these astronomical events for guidance and placement of settlements and structures. And so it's like I said, chime in anywhere, through here too, Chastity, if you found some other stuff too. We'll go, and then most cultures have used celestial bodies and, these things, because you go through, it doesn't matter where you're at in the world, every culture has got something where a cave drawing, something, a carving, something to indicate that they used to watch the heavens, and that was a guiding force between, just for them, on how they knew to get between things, sailing, traveling, they followed the heavens. And so do you yourself, I mean, are you more of a star watcher, when it comes to astrology, or are you more on the divination horoscope side?
I'm more on the deviation side, like more of the zodiac, communication with the planets. Like if Mercury retrograde, okay, like this past one was in Libra, so that the main focus was relationships. Now I hope no one really started anything in Mercury retrograde. Sometimes when you start things like new relationships, sometimes new jobs, they can have complications during Mercury retrograde. That's something that's not really recommended. People do it, but it can be a little bit rocky. So I'm more like on, studying the planets and the zodiacs and all of that side.
Nope. What is it? I mean, and that's where it's like for me, I mean, I'm truly a layman, a novice when it comes to this stuff, What is the effect of Mercury in its position? I mean, why does that affect the actual, I mean, is there a gravitational thing? I mean, through the, the alignment of the planets. I mean, what is it about the planets things right there that causes these? Because to me, it just on the outside, it's like, I can't imagine that a planet like Mercury would be able to disrupt all this technology over here. I mean, it's like, okay, it's in one position. So why is that?
Because Mercury is the planet of communication. So it can be anything through, like I know a lot of times during Mercury retrograde, I was speaking to people, but it was not sinking in. And that's like the frustration, because it's almost like you have to slow down your communication, and sometimes it's not being understood properly. So that's why it can disrupt like technology and everything. And it appears that it's going backwards, but we know planets always move in the forward position. But on Earth, it appears that it's moving backwards. But that's the main force, like with the Mercury retrograde. It's just that being that planet controls the communication, That's why it's such a disruption with different things that we have.
And that's, yeah, okay. So yeah, because I know I looked like Western astrology, which was kind of what they're talking like over. I'm not sure if they consider the Middle East in that. I know it was Europe on. It's pretty much the predominantly used version that it's usually tied to the horoscopes. And a lot of people, when they talk of astrology, they're talking about, I'm able to read your personality, what actions have occurred, when you were born. Do you find that that's a majority of the people that you encounter that are into astrology, they're like that? Or do you find that there's quite a few that are more in depth, where they go well beyond just, hey, this is your love life. It's like you were born here. This is who you should be with. This is, go through that. Or do you find that they're more in depth, or do you find that a lot of them are focused on like the newspaper horoscope?
Oh no, definitely not the newspaper horoscope, because it depends on, where the planets are actually located in your chart, regarding, like, say, for instance, for me, my rising is Aquarius, and that's in my first house. So when people meet me, I might appear as Aquarius, although my sun sign is Virgo. That's why sometimes you can read your horoscope and you're like, that's nothing like me. That's because there's so many different components that actually make up your chart. So it's not just one. It's not just one component. So with a lot of the people that are into it, they will pull up you can use Astro Cafe, and you can get a general realization of which house and which planets, and it actually explains everything. Like for someone like yourself, if you want to learn, you're just like, hey, let me just check this stuff out. It's very basic information that you can actually look at. And then when you work with an actual astrologer, then they'll go in depth, and they can actually pull up your chart and see where the planets are moving through. Like this past Mercury retrograde, my astrologer that I worked with, I was supposed to complete tasks. Like anything that, like say if it was taxes and I needed to meet with my accountant, I should have been doing things that I didn't complete yet. Because if you don't complete it, it's almost like it's going to make you like revisit things that you haven't completed, when it can cause more disruptions in the future. So
okay, yeah,
that's definitely go more.
Yeah, because that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. It's like because I couldn't even tell you. It's like, I mean, I know I'm a Libra. I mean, that's the most I can tell you, because October 6th is my birthday. So I couldn't tell you what, all the different other signs. I mean, I'm not even going to try to, because to me, it'll just be making it up. But it's I don't know, like from you. I mean, I don't know what you can tell me from, because I don't know the exact time I was born. I could ask my mom. I mean, she'd know, but it's for me. I just know October 6th, 1970. So I don't know how, other than how you could go from there. It's like, could you tell me right now, like what other things go with me, or is it just pretty much you need more information?
Well, once you log in your information, it can give you like hey Devin, it can give you like a photo, a general information of the date, but it could be that if you were born in the morning or in the afternoon, it can actually shift things. Like not so much your sun, because your sun is your sun. I mean, it goes on for the whole time, for the time period. But like say for instance, if the moon at that time was a different sign, then it can shift your whole personality aspect. So it's best for your exact time, but if you don't, you can still just check it out. But some things may resonate. I always say take what resonates, what doesn't, just don't focus on it as much. But you most likely would have a lot that resonates with yourself.
Yeah, because I've always kind of been that way. It's like even like tarot readings, any type of thing. It's like it's not, what's read to you isn't what's going to happen. It's kind of just an overall, this is what could, you still have to make your choice. If you stay on the same path, most likely this will occur, but you still have the ability to deviate at any point and change this. This is just right now on this path. This is what could happen. So I've kind of taken that. I mean, that's for me, it's just, that's why it's cool to have you on here. Cause it's just for the longest time, I've never felt that the position of the sun, the moon, it's just like, controls my every action, like just because I was born this time, because they always talk the compatibility, I'm a Libra, my wife's an Aries. We've never had, as far as I know, I mean, is that a compatible one?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
that's so funny. That's actually perfect because that's your descendant sign. So it's almost polar opposites. If you look at the zodiac, you're opposite, like you're directly. So that's actually perfect.
Yeah, and to Julie's saying, where are the labels in Spanish? I don't know. That might just be yours. I mean, everything's coming up in
California thing.
In English, yes, California, Nevada thing. It's like a California, filter. It's like you got to turn that off. You have it on Espanol. It's like no, it's as far as I know, it's in English. I think it showed up. But yeah, that's okay. So that, I mean, maybe that's reason why we've worked so so well. I mean, we've been together 26 years.
Absolutely, because the Aries is more like take charge and a Libra is more indecisive. So like when you're probably, your indecisiveness kicks in, she's probably like taking charge and getting things done. Not saying you don't, but I'm just saying if you're stuck, the Aries, she comes in there and she just gets it done.
Oh yeah, the guys will tell me all the time. They're like, "I want to do this." I'm like, we gotta weigh the odds of this. Obviously the scales. So in a way, I do prescribe to a little bit because it's, I'm like, no, we got to weigh that, do this. And then eventually I'm always hesitant to make that final, let's just do this. I guess if I really had to sit down on the psychiatrist's couch, and I answer the question, I think it's more of ones I'm just worried about making sure that everybody else is enjoying themselves. They're doing this, and I don't want it to, I don't want to take it upon, do what I want just to make sure, because it feels selfish. It feels that's, by me making that decision, I feel like I'm making it just solely for myself and not for everybody else. So I don't know. It's probably a Libra thing. I don't know.
It is definitely a Libra thing. Libras are very selfless. Like they will sacrifice their happiness for someone else. Like you'll take the back burner and let someone else shine. So, I mean, like, just think Libra, Kim K. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying like she's everyone's favorite Libra. However, she has the beauty. She has that's the Libra. Like you have that grace, you have that it factor that people pay attention to. But behind the scenes, you're carrying the weight literally. Well, I guess on your back, but that's totally different. But talking about Kim K, but it's like you got your whole family, and you worry about everyone else before you worry about yourself. So
now, Carolyn, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to admit this, my teenage boy in me just comes out, and I can't get past this and read this in without trying to keep from cracking a smile, just because it's like that whole thing when you go in there, it's just when you talk about the planet, it's like no matter what, when you're in school, it's just every time you talk about the planets, every time that planet comes up, it's a joke. And I have the worst time keeping a straight face, but so to her thing. So how does that work? Like what she just said. So, I mean, explain that to me, like break it down to me. Cause like I said, I don't honestly, that to me is a foreign language.
Right. Well, as far as, hold on, I gotta pull up notes as far as specifics. Because again, I am not an expert. I do not claim to be. But as far as like Uranus, it actually controls the force of enlightenment and sudden change. So that's why she's feeling liberated, because it's like with that planet, I'm not even sure what exact sign it was in, but once you have a shift, you can, I mean, you have to be kind of connected more, but you can actually feel the difference, like when it happens. So that's why she's saying that she feels liberated and changed because of what the focus is of that planet.
Okay, yeah, because I said, because I'll see those things like, this is in ascending, this is in the stuff, and I just every time I see it, I'm like going, I wish I understood what this meant. Julie is asking if we talk about Chiron as it returns, and is it affecting us now?
Yeah, Chiron right now is for healing. There's a lot of breakthroughs that's happening with that planet. So you should feel, sometimes you might have a breakthrough of crying, or you might think of something that may have hurt you, some past traumas. But this is a time of healing. We're actually transitioning. So that's what's going on with that planet. Just the healing.
Okay. So yeah, and it's, this is where it gets so in depth. I mean, you could just touch on everything. It's like how planets, the stars, moon, in position. I mean, what would you say? I know you said that site, was that the one that you'd pretty much just, steadfast, just go check this out, this is going to be the best one? Or is there another place, to go and actually get the information to help you learn it, almost like a class? I mean, where is a good source for that?
Right. You can take classes, like as far as, at any local community college, or you can go to college, actually take a class. There's a lot of people online that you can actually take it to. I do have some sources I can send. I didn't write down any, but you can actually take some classes through the astrologer that I utilize. She actually uses astrology with spirituality, so that helps a lot. You can even buy books like this book right here. This is amazing. It's pretty basic. It has nice pictures for you to learn, like everything. Like she was talking about Uranus.
Now, is that available Amazon and other places that you pick those up?
Right. You can get this at Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can totally pick this up anywhere, and it's great. I think it's like, I want to say $14.99. But with this book, you can actually, it breaks everything down to you, and it actually tells you everything. It can help you with pretty much every aspect of your life.
Oh, nice.
Like depending on what planet you have in what house or whatever.
Nice. I'm just trying to think like some of the other stuff that I found. It's because I know one of the things too is, I know when I was doing the research, a lot of civilizations displayed, acute knowledge of celestial cycles, and they even oriented their temples, to align with. And this is where the class comes in, the
right.
heliacal rising of the stars, and so that through the research, I knew that part is just the annual rise of the star when it first becomes visible above the eastern horizon, just before sunrise, after it spent a season behind the sun, rendering it invisible. And most people I know, the eyes just rolled back their head. It's just, but it's one of those. It takes a lot but that's where, because what's that called when that's the rising? Is retrograde when it's falling?
The retrograde is like on Earth when it appears as moving backwards, not when it's rising.
Okay, so it's the other way. It's like after it's right, that's when it's coming back down, back down the retrograde.
Right,
okay, so
like the shadow period.
Because I know the Egyptian calendar and astronomical development was really guided around Sirius. They really paid the star Sirius, and I know the Greeks really clued in on the rising of Pleiades, because that signaled to them the start of sailing season, to where that's time to go. And so you could see through his history. I mean, it's not. I don't go with the whole mumbo jumbo thing. I mean, there's definitely something to it, because you just go through history. I mean, there's way too many cultures that relied on these things to determine these things, for it to be something that doesn't have any effect. But once again, like I said, does that mean that that's why your toaster just exploded on your counter? Because, I don't know. That's where I had to bring you on, because that was a part. It's like people tell me, it's like, oh no, it really happens. And then Hadley was telling, she was giving me a hard time, because what was it? I was just like, I'm like, I don't believe it. It's like, boom, my internet went down. I'm like, she's like, see, I told you.
Right. Well, I can tell you how I kind of got into it, because like, cause as far as my son, I'm a Virgo all day, love us, hate us. But thing is, my friend, she was just talking to me about this person, and then like everything that she was saying, I just picked up. I was like, oh my God, he's a Capricorn. And she's like, how did you know? I'm like, everything you're saying, that's just like my dad. That's how he was, rest in peace. I was like, that's exact. It's like a light bulb went off. And it was almost like I felt when my dad was here, I never understood him. I never understood why he wasn't so loving, why he was standoffish, always worked. Like, he was very successful, like he's a chief warrant officer in the Navy when he passed. He was, so about work, but he took care of things. But had I looked into astrology, I do believe that I could have worked on that relationship more, because I would have understood. And I mean, I have my undergrad in social work, so it's not like I haven't studied, social sciences and like psychology or sociology. I've studied, things. It doesn't make me better than anyone, but I have worked with mental illness. I have, done things like that. But just a light bulb to go off when I'm talking to someone and it resonates, like, holy crap, that's a Capricorn. That's the reason why he was that way. And so that's why, like, if anyone talks to me about anything and they're having difficulties, I will pop up. I will say, oh, that's a Leo. Oh, that's an Aries. This is what's going on. And this is the difficulties with that, because that's the least I can do, is help someone improve relationships that they want to improve. Sometimes you don't want to improve it, but if someone's trying and they're having difficulties, and if I have some type of knowledge and I can help, then I certainly will. Because once the person's gone, they're gone. But if it's just a little piece that, hey, I'm a Virgo, he's the Capricorn, what can we do to work on this relationship? I feel that that's very important. So, different things will resonate. Even if you pull up your chart and you read things, you may see that you've had difficulties with something or with the person. And then it's you just kind of have to, like, go on a personal experience, because everything can be different for everyone.
That's where Sarah, she was just asking it too. It's like, do you think if more people paid attention to their signs and the stars, how they affect us, would we become more conscious as a planet spiritually and emotionally, more emotionally responsible even?
I mean, I totally believe that it can definitely help us. I mean, if we actually paid attention to the changes and see in past history of, the planet, what if they were going to retrograde or what sign, we can actually work on behaviors. And it doesn't matter if it sounds, to me, like it sounds crazy. If you try it and it works, it's almost like a placebo. If it works, that's all that matters. That's all that matters, is if it works. That's all that matters to me. That's why I can speak about it, and I know what helps me on my day-to-day. But I totally believe that we'd be more enlightened and a more happy society if we focus more on, everything, like, within the world. I mean, for us to think that we're the only people here and that different things don't affect us, that sounds very, I don't know, like, egotistical. Like, why would, whatever you believe in, but only create us here on this wonderful universe? Us being here, you wake up, you go to work, you get the money, you eat, you got to do all this stuff because it's what we've been programmed. Yeah. But why are we programmed that way? What's behind the scenes? Like, yeah, the people are making the calls and we have to do this, we have to live. But there's so much more that I believe that we can focus on to improve our day to day. And we just got to take a break and just do that. I mean, and just, I don't know. I definitely highly recommend anyone to pull their chart. And if they have questions, they can always reach out to me, and I can, look up things and explain it to them. But I do believe that this can definitely help everyone.
Well, I think it's a generational thing too. The older generation, they were stuck in their ways. I think my generation and younger are starting to realize that they're not wrong, but we're seeing it in a different way. Like you talked about, I don't follow astrology as much as I should, like we're talking about. And the funny thing was, right before the show started, someone posted some, all the lists of signs. You're like, this is this and this. And I'm reading it going, that all happened. You know what I mean? And I didn't read that before. And then, oh my God, that happened. I literally went through my day and I'm like, that's weird. That just happened. And I just now read that. I was like, that's so weird. Or like later on, I'll see someone post something different of a different day. I'm like, that happened today. That's crazy. I didn't read it like everyone reads their horoscope at the beginning of the day. So I'm like, man, this is too crazy. It's like real.
Yeah, right. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So that's no. What was that site again that you were talking in the beginning?
Astro Cafe.
Astro Cafe. Okay. So that's
astrocafe.com. And then if you know your date of birth, time, and where you were born, that's very important too. You pull up your information.
Yeah.
And another thing with me, like say once you pull up your big three, that's the ones that people usually focus on. That's your moon sign, your sun, and your rising sign. So for me, my moon is Capricorn. Once you do research on a Capricorn moon, oh yeah, that's the site.
Okay. So it's astro.cafeastrology.com is the site. Yeah. All right.
Oh God.
Oh, getting attacked by a dog. There we go. Yep. I'm just, because for me, I mean, I wish I had more little bases, because I said there's so many different things. It's like how to go here. It's, do you feel like it is an absolute must with relationships or anything that you try to stick to compatible signs, or is this one of those where it's just mere guideline than an actual steadfast rule? Because
I don't know. It's like if you like the person and they're a Gemini, I'm not saying like don't go out with them, but you might want to read up on it, just to see what's going on. Because I know had I looked at sign information on my past relationships, I probably would have walked away a long time ago and not wasted the time, because sometimes it's just not going to work. Now, if you're having issues, I definitely say you should. Now, if you ask somebody like where they're born and the time and place, it's going to definitely freak them out. However, I do believe that if you're in a relationship, just look over some things, and you can learn a lot from a person just from looking at their star chart. I mean, I highly recommend it. Like my ex, he was an Aries. I would have walked away a long time ago if I knew the issues that we were having were just not compatible.
Well, hello, Hadley, and thanks for tuning in. And I was going to say, is it a good idea to check it out prior to the date? Because it seems like it'd be kind of cold if you're like in the middle of the date and you're like, oh crap, I'm out. You just get up and walk away. You're just like, where are you going? It's like, I just found nope. Yeah,
I found out right away.
you wouldn't stay for the free meal?
Yeah.
I don't want the free meal.
Yeah. Do you stay for the free meal and the drinks, or just continue on, or do you just at that point you're just like, it's not even worth it? I go, it's not even worth the chaos that's going to come with this one.
Oh no, they're like, hello, and I'm like, what's your zodiac? They're like Aquarius. I'm like, goodbye. Like, I'm out of here. Libra, I'm out of here. Not on a date. Like, I can be friends with Libras all day, but not relationships. Other than like my daughter, family, friends, but romantic, absolutely not. Can't do it.
Yeah, we're not for everybody.
Absolutely not.
Because that's the thing. It's just, I'm thinking you've got that one. It's, I mean, when somebody walks up to you on the first date, it's like, what's your sign? I mean, it's, one that's it's always been later the cheesy pickup line, hey baby, what's your sign? It's like, there's always that joke, U-turn, it's just like,
stop.
Yeah. Because I honestly, I mean, that never even entered into my, thing. Is like when we were first dating, it's like, it was never something like, it's like, when were you born? April. Okay, cool. I never was like, it's like, wait a minute. It's just calculate. It's like, no, it's, coming back through there. It's like, either I got extremely lucky, or which, I mean, I think I got extremely lucky anyway. I mean, it's just, I picked the right class and, met her anyway. So it's been 26 years, I wouldn't give away for the world. So. Yeah. But
right. Well, I mean, there's certain things like an Aries, a fire sign, you're going to be drawn to, like, things like fire, being like air. It's almost like fire keeps your air going. So it's probably your chemistry probably was really good. Like, that's why you're like, hey, I met her. I knew that was going to be my wife. Like, you probably already felt that. So even though you didn't know behind the scenes, it's like the cosmos was still like looking out for you.
Maybe that's why I wouldn't take no for an answer. Every time she'd tell me no, I wasn't interested. It's like, no, it's like, here, how about for coffee? No. Let's go get something to eat. No. It's like, eventually it's like, yes. I got a date. So that's what it was.
Right.
Yes.
I believe looking, I mean, right now I'm single. I don't know, kind of mingling, but I'm always looking into the astrology. I'm looking into the signs, and I already know what was broke. I'm trying to go with something else. Hey, if the stars can help me and I can pull up some information, it just saves me time. Like if sometimes you like that person, but to me it's not worth it if we have these things within ourselves.
You start the dating site, where your profile, you have to put in what your sign is, so that way you can just weed them out immediately right there. You could go in and just select which ones.
There's got to be a website like that already.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Bumble and Match. I think probably use some compatibility like that. That's what I heard, but I'm not looking it up.
I don't want to get in trouble with my girlfriend.
I know. It's like, why are you looking up astrologydating.com? Research.
Do not. But your wife's a Virgo, and Virgos and Geminis are good. Is your wife a Virgo? I think she is.
Yeah, she.
Okay, I was about to say. I thought she was.
September 1st.
So that's the compatibility right there too.
Hadley, did the last Mercury retrograde seem worse to you than normal? I mean, it did for me. My internet went down for a week. So.
Absolutely. Well, hey, the whole Facebook takedown. Hey, how awesome is that during Mercury retrograde, that Facebook? For hours. Although that was like the whistleblower and stuff behind the scenes, but it was also during Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the board that they did something. That's because all of their services went down at the same time. I think they were in the process of tweaking something in the AI at that point when everything went down. It was just like, they could play it off as, like this catastrophic thing, when in fact it was like, they couldn't do like a maintenance and just shut all the servers off. They could never get away with Facebook's going to be down for a couple hours because the world came to an end. I like all the jokes. It's like, the people that just didn't know what to do. They're constantly refreshing their phone, hoping that it comes back. And so it's, I think, God, what did we do? I think we played a board game as a family. It was kind of fun. Yeah, I
thought when it went down, it was very peaceful, because I feel like I'm always like, going on there and I'm distracted, but I actually felt at peace. Like when it went down, like it wasn't, communication. Like sometimes I only communicate with some people on Facebook, but it was, I don't know. It was just, the world was at peace. Like we were kind of panicking because, Facebook went down, but it was way different. I feel like we're just relying too much on technology and Facebook.
Well, I think
sometimes we do need it to be rocked to come back to reality.
Oh, I agree with you, because it's one of those, because everybody, the anxiety, the pressures and stuff is really, how much of that do we give to ourselves? That's an awesome face you're making down there, Austin. He's just down there like,
the stink eye.
Yeah, it's something. He's looking at something. He's not even listening. Yeah, he's not even listening. Yeah, the pressure, the pressures that we put on ourselves, I think, really does a number on most people's psyche more than they actually think. I mean, it's from everything from what teens put themselves through the pressure of, got to look a certain way. If you don't do this, if you're not doing this, and that's what's driving a lot of teen suicides, is the fact that they've put themselves through this pressure that's not really there. It's just because they feel like they've got to be like this influencer, and if they're not, they're not of value, which isn't even close to the case. I mean, this is, and like you said, it's amazing when that shut off, it's like, you realize it's like, whatever's going on, you don't feel it anymore, because there's not that constant, this is going on, just ramp. And that's where I wondered, especially like with this astrology thing, is there certain times when it's great to do like that? I mean, to unplug, I mean, just go step away and more like to meditate, get away from things. I mean, is there a certain time of the year that's better for that?
Well, usually like during the summer solstice, that's a lot to like reconnect and start summer when the sun is at the highest point. I wouldn't say it's like June 20th. So that's a really good time for you to like to get, lined up and start meditating. I mean, you should meditate at least for 5 or 10 minutes every day anyways, because you can, get like a clearer mind, and it will ease a lot of things. I mean, do you meditate now?
Not as much as I should. I mean, it's like the dentist. Do you floss? Yes, twice a year.
Twice before I got here.
Yeah, it's like with the meditation. It's like, what did you? It's like, yes, when there's like really stressful times, I'll take like that. But I mean, it's something that, if you can make time to surf Facebook, for 45 minutes, or do stuff like this, it shouldn't be that challenge to find 15, 20 minutes to sit there and just ground yourself, and just, and actually meditate. And that's what I actually need to get on. And yes, Julie, I am a recreational flosser, and I don't lie. I actually tell straight up, I'll tell the hygienist, I'm here for my biannual flossing. I don't lie, because they already know the truth. I mean, this is why lie. It's like, do you floss? I don't. Why do you ask?
Just nobody floss.
Like, do you meditate?
I don't even know why they can look in your mouth and know.
Yeah. Do you meditate? Why? Why does it look like I need to?
That's what I say when we go to my dentist. Do you floss? Do you meditate? Yeah, exactly. Touche.
Yeah, I do. I do need to meditate, and that's one of those things. Is there, it's the same question. Is there better times of the day? Is there better times where it's more effective? That you found, like, if you do it more here, during this port, it's going to be better. For you, what do you think is the best time to actually, besides just like if you're stressed out?
Right. For me, I do it right before I go to bed, and I do it right when I wake up. I wake up every day at least by 5:30, and I meditate and pray like every day. It's just a routine. Like once you get into have a routine, it's like meditation or prayer. Just you have to pretty much do it. I do it before I go out the house at 7 o'clock in the morning. So between the latest is probably 6:30, but I would say between 5:30 a.m. and 6:30. But also, like, once you figure out your time of birth, that can also work too. Like, say you're born at 6:30 p.m., I would recommend that you at least do it 6:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. like every day. That can definitely help you.
And that's so just a consistency. Now, do you find that, like, what they're saying, is there a certain time of the year, that seems to have like more of a, like, amplifies this, or is there not really, an astrological time that works best?
I mean, I really don't. I mean, I know with the summer, with the warmth, being that the days are longer, sometimes we're happier and able to, take things more in. And when the wintertime comes, when nights are shorter, I mean, I still would say to meditate, but it's not the same like the summer because you have less of the sunlight. So I do see, right now we might be coming up on, seasonal depression and things like that. I do believe that that's from not having so much sun. So you definitely get on it now, but in the summertime, you probably would feel a difference, like a slight shift. Maybe not, but I don't know. It's worth it. I know for me, I felt different.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm gonna do it. I've got to get better and meditate. Because Ron, just meditation's good anytime except when you're driving. Yeah, that's
right. I mean, just do it. I mean, realistically, anytime. But if you want to discuss like with the cosmos, that's why I was saying like your birth time. But anytime after the show, whenever you can fit it in. I would definitely say just at least do like 5 minutes.
That's okay. Because now one of the things, like, I looked in, do you hold any belief in the 13th sign of the zodiac? Do you know about that one?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's
but I don't pay attention to that. I just pay attention to the 12th. I know they actually said that things shifted with the zodiacs, but I don't pay attention to anything like that. I just pay attention to the old school. opposed to Western zodiac in astrology.
Yeah, because I don't even know how to pronounce that one. I think it's like Officius, Officius or something like, it's just, I'm not sure how to pronounce that one that they just, that they came up with a 13th sign, but I just didn't know if that's something like that you've come across people that hold to that system. Because if that's the case, I'm not a Libra anymore. If we go with the 13 signs.
No, you're right. I don't.
It shifts everything.
For the most part, people don't go by that. Not anybody I encountered.
Okay, so that's more of just because I know I'm trying to remember. It's like it's. I'm trying to look up real quick. It's like it was just one of those through the research. I'd never really found this one, but then, I think it was from NASA that did that 13th sign, to break it down. I think it was to even out, but now the other one where it was just kind of like the skeptic question, what is the best way to show somebody who's a serious skeptic, a doubter, a validity, or authenticity of this practice? I mean, what, you always have the magician, it's like, what is that one thing that go to where it's like, if you can do this, you can kind of start making a believer out of somebody that just, thinks it's you're just randomly picking stuff like Chinese fortune cookies.
I mean, for me, I still would go back, reading information, your personal information as far as your star chart, because when you actually pull up things, that's when there's things about you that probably no one knows, and I believe like when you start reading that's you'll start getting that aha or resonation. I mean, to me, that I would just push the star chart, because there's not, to me, anything with history or anything. It just, to me, it could be all coincidence. But when you're actually like reading things about yourself, that's what helped me personally connect. Like for me, my Capricorn, my moon is Capricorn, so that means that I pretty much am, I'm gonna say emotionless, but when I say I don't care, I don't care. Like it's just certain things I just won't. If I, that's my moon checking me. I just don't care. But when you read into that, it will say that people with Capricorn moons can have dysfunctional relationships with their mothers. And I'm not saying, not putting my business out there, but mine and my mother's relationship could definitely improve. And my daughter, that's what another wake up call. She has a Capricorn moon. So when I'm like, holy crap, this is repeating. History's repeating itself. Let me get myself together, because this can make me be a better mother, and I can connect with my daughter because she's all I have. That one piece, it totally resonated with me, that I needed to see what I can do to improve. That's another reason why I started, studying astrology, seeing different, personality traits, pulling up her chart. We don't even like pick our parents. Like my mom, she's a Libra, her mom's a Virgo. They're, as far as like their moons go, it's like when you look at everyone like in your family and the connections, it's just so mind blowing to me. And I've, been to therapy. I've done things, try to help with my mental. And this is actually what is helping me. Like my friends who know me before, like I don't know how long you've known me, but trust me, I was a force to be reckoned with. I still am, but I am way different. And this is what has helped me. I'm not saying therapy is also good, but this in connection, this is definitely a great tool to utilize to help improve your life. And my laugh is like falling.
No, I think you started watching this probably the way you described it, probably be more of the calmer times. It's as I said, after you wasn't as crazy, because I said it's I don't remember anything really off the wall or anything. It's just throughout the time, other than just whenever we would have some crazy topic, and it's like you chime in. It's always a good laugh, when you guys would go around in the chat room as we're doing the interviews. But yeah, one of the questions I had for you too was, what what got you interested in astrology to begin with? I mean, what was it that just really pulled you in and said, this is what I want to, figure out and learn?
Well, I mean, with last year with the pandemic and straight struggling with my mental, like it was very, very hard. I mean, because it's like we were closed off, and I'm going through like a breakup. Like my girls know that was rough. Like I needed something to pull me through, because if it didn't, real talk, I don't even know if I would be here talking. Like it was a dark time. So once I started, picking up spirituality, like April, she helped me a lot. And, Miss Mona and Sarah and, I'm meeting all these people, Bradley with the spirituality aspect. Then, with the cosmos, I'm learning, this is happening. It all coincides to help me improve myself and my mental on a daily basis. So that's why it's like I can totally understand, skeptics. But I say, right now it's a very difficult time for a lot of us. And I believe that we need things like astrology to pull us through. We need tools, something to believe in, something to help us with our daily, because it is hard, like when you're, getting up. I mean, maybe not for you, maybe not, but if this helps, that I'm doing this work, I'm doing this, and this is what can help me improve. That's why I totally got into it, to help myself. Like I didn't, I'm not knocking medication, I'm not knocking therapists, but it was just like working with the mental illness, things still was not clicking with what I knew as far as the book. Like I can, look at a book, I can pull up the technical terms, but it was still a struggle. So I just, utilized what I learned in school with astrology, and that's what has been helping me. So it was with my mental health, me getting myself together, because I'm no good to my daughter, was no good to anybody. No one knew, what path or how dark it was. But I know I needed something. And you can have all the therapy, you can, have all the medication, whatever. But if you don't go within and try to help yourself, it's not going to work. And this is what I utilize to go within myself to improve my daily needs.
Yeah, you answered one of the next questions I had, because I was going to say, I was going to ask you if you used it if it was more of a guidance tool for you or something, and you said, I pretty much know the answer. You use it as a guide. I mean, this is, I said, and that's, that's great, because I had that one. I had to follow, for the, do you see it as literal or, but I feel like you see it as more of a literal guidance, the way, as you see, so that's, it's pretty cool. I said, I just threw the notes.
Right. I mean, it's a tool. To me, it's a tool, just like what Julie was saying, like as far as tarot card, intuitive reading, pendulums. It's a tool that you can utilize to make things make sense. So many people are like, how do we know this is true? Like you pull the tarot card, you get the three of, swords, and they don't believe it. To me, if it's science and it's mathematics behind it, it helps me put a little something more in a concrete of the unknown with the metaphysical. Because there's so much that we don't know. There's so much, and to me, if you're to me, you seem like a technical person. You need something like, hey, let me look. Okay, this is research. This is concrete. This is something more. It's still, I mean, yeah, it's not solid, but I'm telling you, if you start looking into it, it makes a little bit more sense than, like an intuitive card reader that, with the cards, I'm not knocking anything, because I can, utilize, and I know there's talented card readers and everything. But if you look at the card and you read it, it's almost like it can kind of resonate for everybody. I'm not going to say that it's not fake, it's real. But you pull a card, it can resonate in any situation in most people's lives when you actually read it, if you go through the book. But like if you look at your astrology and your personal traits, that should resonate for yourself. It's something, if you look at your chart, look at your wife, look at your child, it's not going to be the same. Certain things might be the same, but it's not so much like tarot is something to me more factual and that can help you than someone that's constantly questioning. So I would definitely say, just start researching, because it can definitely help you, especially with the Libra and with anything you're going through, Gemini, whatever. It can definitely help you improve. Even if it helps you improve, I don't care, like 5%, 1% is better just to improve. Like, it's worth it. Like, what are you losing?
Yeah, no, that's I just as you're saying, it's like, what's the February? What sign is that? End of February?
What, Aquarius? No, end of February. Pisces. Pisces.
Pisces. Is that is that compatible with Libra? Sort of.
I want to say, yeah, probably sort of.
Maybe that's why.
But
me and my son butt heads sometimes.
Pisces, they're more like very emotional. Like one of my best friends, she's Pisces. I love her to death. She's so compassionate, and she's a lover and more of a free spirit. She's and I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, hey girl, what are you doing? But
yeah,
with you, that's probably what made me happening with him. But that's how they are. But they're so super loving, and they mean well. They just want the best for everyone. Not saying Libras don't, but
yeah,
I mean, they're a little bit more like compassionate and things like that.
I think that makes sense. Where sometimes I'm just it's like I want him to make a decision, type thing, but he he has trouble with it too. And but it's he definitely. We have to make sure that the ASPCA commercials are not on around him.
Oh.
Yeah. Those would cause breakdowns. Just it's one of those. Yeah. So that resonates definitely with that, and you've kind of nailed it. I'm a skeptical believer. I'm always one of those big things. It's like, just because somebody says it, I'm not going to just buy it. But it's one of those, through observation, if I can weed out the stuff that's not there, that's what I'm believing in. It's like, so when like you said, when somebody just pulls a tarot card and just says this, but when you have somebody that can pull the same card and go, boom, and just actually nail something that definitely resonates right with you, you're like, okay, there's something to this. And you kind of go that way, same way with astrology. It's like, as you've been talking, it's like what you just said, it kind of resonated like how my son is, so you could see that there's definitely something there. It's not just, well, I'm looking at this laminated sheet card, that I bought at the gift store, and I'm telling you, this is what, let's see, hold on, this is what a Pisces is supposed to be. You can tell somebody that actually, and that's where one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on for this.
Right. I mean, like I was saying, to improve any relationship, I do believe it can help, because me, reading up more on Libras, and it's helped mine and my daughter's relationship improve so much. And everyone, all of my best friend, she's a Leo, and I have best friends, I have so many, but I have Leos, I have Libras, and Aquarius. I do like Aquarius. I have good friends with Aquarius, Pisces. Like, it helps everything. I'm telling you. Like, once you can learn it, and some of the difficulties that you may have, you'll say like, hey, okay, that's what I need to do. I need to pull back. Like, if one of my friends, she was having an issue, she kept trying to help, just trying to, she's a Leo, kept trying to be gung-ho. She didn't understand why the person didn't want help. That's what a Leo is. A Leo is more of a person that takes charge and wants to help. And that's difficult for them if someone doesn't want their help. Once I said, hey, this is what's going on, he's Virgo, he doesn't want it. She was like, holy crap, you're right. I'm not going to stop. This is not going to work for me. So sometimes you do have to stop because it won't. Another app that is wonderful is, I never said a first one, but the app is the Pattern. You need to download that. You put in your information, like your date of birth, and it'll actually pull up different daily messages in like the world update, and that coincides with like numerology and the zodiacs and astrology and things.
No, what was that? What was that called again?
It was called Pattern.
Pattern.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can bring that up for. Yeah. So here is the.
That's an app. It's free. You can actually put in your friend's information, your wife's information, your son's information, and it can actually do a bond, and it can actually give you a review of what's positive. That's a symbol right there. Yeah.
Okay, so make sure
you can download it on your phone.
Okay. All right. Well, Chastity, and thank you so much for coming on. I really, it's amazing. See how fast an hour goes? I told you to go quick.
Mm-hmm. You did.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's one of those. It's like we didn't even get to half. It's like half the stuff that I had on here, but so like I said, I'm really look forward to, like I said, the next, talking with you. But I mean, definitely as we come down, if we have another collab one, I mean, I'd like to have you back on, especially when we.
Well, I know this was a hot mess. It was cool, but
now
that I'm warmed up, I think I can do it. Okay.
No, you did fine. I think everybody's been talking about an awesome show. I mean, Ron was telling us you're a fantastic guest.
I mean, I said they love me. They're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, no, they actually, like I said, it's really great. I mean, you lived up to everything that I was hoping for. So I said, great job. So, but hey, tell everybody, in the house that, thank you, appreciate you, giving the time or stuff. And, we'll definitely, if you're not busy, we'll chat with you on the next one.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. Have a great night.
Thanks. You're welcome.
All right, everybody. This was brought to you by threebeardspodcast.com. Go there, check us out. We've got a merchandise shop there. You can check us out on all the social medias, including we've got, trying to get there. TikTok, we got a few videos up there. We're trying to grow that as well. YouTube, like, share, subscribe. We were just brought on with ERRT Radio over there, courtesy of Ron. He's we're going to be luckily, and we get to follow the Outer Realms and starting at 11-ish, p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. So we're going to rebroadcast our shows on there. So everybody go check that out. We got a link for everybody to go download an app, so that way you can go in there, listen live, and comment. Or you can just listen live. You don't have to do it. But if you want to comment, you need to create an account. So everybody, patreon.com/3beardspodcast to adopt one of us beards. You can also, like I said, go to redbubble.com directly, 3 Beards Podcast. But just go like, subscribe, please share. Sarah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But everybody, Danielle, thanks for watching. Julie, Harlan, Ron, Chastity, thank you so much. Mona, appreciate it. M.A. Allen, checking us out. Mark, guys, everybody, thank you for watching. Hadley, appreciate it. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next show. Good night.